East Africa, Kenya is set to host, Kenya is set to host a regional conference on dairy next month. The conference organizers say they seek to showcase the industry's best practice and technology. Dennis Otieno was at the briefing and now joins us for a quick update. Dennis Otieno, if you can hear me from that particular conference, what is it that you've been able to gather?
All right, a very good morning to you, Patrick Igunza, there in studio. Actually, it was a briefing regarding this particular conference, which is going to be held next month. That's in August at around 22nd here at the KICC. And basically, the organizers were actually just telling us about what to expect on this particular event. It is an event being organized by the Eastern and Southern Africa Dairy Association, ESADA. And from this particular conference, they tell us that they do expect over 600 delegates to attend. And these delegates will be coming from over 40 countries globally. And basically, when you look at the dairy industry in Kenya, you'll notice that it's one of the most vibrant dairy industries in the region. And one thing that is unique about Kenya's dairy industry is that smallholder farmers account for about 80% of the production in this country. The government says the sector has made strides. Looking at what we've been having for the last decade, when production was at 2.2 billion, they say, looking at the efforts that they've put in place, production now currently stands at about 6 billion liters every year, and that is a milestone for them. And to discuss with me more about this particular conference, which will be held, the dairy conference, which will be held next month, is Peter Ngaruiya. Peter Ngaruiya happens to be the executive director at the Eastern and Southern Africa Dairy Association, and he'll just give us a breakdown of what to expect in this particular conference. Peter. Thank you very much for joining us on this show.
It's a pleasure, Dennis.
All right. Yeah. Can you tell us what should we expect in this particular conference?
Well, this is the biggest conference and exhibition we have in Africa as far as the dairy industry is concerned. And it's an exposition of the emerging technologies and, most importantly, cutting technologies and practices in the dairy industry. As you mentioned rightly, that the dairy industry, particularly in Kenya, has made great strides. But I must say that we haven't scratched the surfaces yet in as far as the opportunities are concerned, because there are quite a number of challenges that continue to impede realizing this opportunity and this potential. And one of them being, of course, low production and of course, issues of quality and of course, issues of market access. And these technology are coming to see how we can be able to overcome these challenges. Because we are having technologies that will assist the processors to be able to come up with better products, superior products that can be able to compete in the international market. So we're expecting very elaborate exposition and very insightful conference. We have over 120 companies who are bringing in technologies from over 30 countries, and these technologies are cutting across the value chain, from the farm to the table. And most of them are coming from Europe, Asia, and of course some local technologies. So we expect quite insightful event, and more importantly, it's an event that every player in the dairy stakeholder should attend and must not miss. Yeah.
Indeed, the dairy sector in Kenya has been vibrant, as you said earlier. Yeah. But where are we going wrong? Because there comes a time when we do talk about shortages in the market, yes, high milk prices. Yes. Where do we go wrong as a country?
You know, the industry have a challenge because of over-reliance on rain-fed fodder, whereby we have to depend on rain so that we can have enough fodder for our animals. And the moment we divorce ourselves from that over-reliance, we'll definitely be able to make strides. Because you see, in Kenya we can say we are self-reliant, or we produce enough milk only 3 months in a year. So the other 9 months we have deficits. So we have technologies that are trying to help the farmers to be able to produce milk consistently throughout the month. And when we are able to realize that, you'll see there'll be a lot of investment in the industry because the processors will have enough milk to process throughout the year. But for now, you find that they are utilizing their capacities, say only a third of it, because only 3 months that they have sufficient milk. The rest of the time, we don't have enough milk. And to add on that, Kenyans are growing in terms of consuming more and more milk. So what we are seeing is that as we progress, we'll continue to have deficit of milk growing because we have urbanization, people moving to the urban centers. We have population growth and, of course, growth of incomes. All these three factors are contributing positively, of course, on the consumption of milk. So more milk will be demanded. So if you don't match that with production and consistent production for that matter, we'll end up with a situation whereby the industry is stuck a little bit. Yeah.
Looking at what you've mentioned, most of these issues also touch on the laws governing the sector. Yes. What would you say about regulations governing the sector? I know we do have the Kenya Dairy Board. Yes. Is it doing enough, or does the country need to do more with regard to regulations?
Of course, we must say more need to be done. We have enabling environment in terms of policies are concerned, but also more need to be done. We have situation whereby we don't get enough support, particularly to the farmers. When you're talking about extension services, information flow, so that these farmers can be able to get the relevant information to help them to be able to produce enough milk throughout the year. And also, we should be able to start looking at a situation whereby we pay milk by quality, so that we can be able to stimulate over the years quality production of quality milk. Because today we pay milk depending on quantity. So if I bring in poor quality milk and someone brings in good quality milk, we are all paid the same. So we need to incentivize the farmers to be able to produce better quality milk. So it should be captured in our policies such that we migrate from payment by quantity to payment by quality. Those are some of the enabling policies that I think Dairy Board should look into and make sure that they are the things that are implemented in the country. Just last month, Rwanda implemented a policy on the minimum money that you should pay the farmer. I think you should also start be looking at that so that farmers can be able to plan adequately with reliable information. Right now, prices fluctuate very rapidly, and it leaves farmers with a little bit of very little information to make decisions.
Maybe finally, what will be the take-home for Kenya in this conference?
Well, dairy industry is looking up. I think it is one of the best sector that is experiencing a boom and good growth. It's a sector to get in at the moment, either as a producer or a processor. It's one of the best sectors, and everyone would attest to that. So let us all join the industry and make it vibrant and make it grow. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time. All right, Igunza, there you've had it. Just a brief preview of what to expect in the actual conference that will be taking place next month. This is the International Dairy Conference, which is scheduled to take place next month at the KICC in Nairobi. And looking at the milk sector in the country, the dairy sector rather in the country, we know that it's a very vibrant sector, bearing in mind that it contributes about 14% of the total agricultural GDP and about 4% to the country's national gross domestic product. And therefore, we will be keeping tabs on this particular conference, which will be taking place next month. The Chief Administrative Secretary for Agriculture, Dr. Andrew Twimur, was here in the morning, just giving us a brief of this particular conference too from the government side. And he did assure that the country's milk supply is stable, in spite of the fact that there was a bit of a dip earlier on in the year. But he did assure the country that the milk supply in the country is stable, and therefore we should not expect any drastic changes when it comes to the prices. Igunza, back to you in studio.